versus, oh sorry, Warlock versus Paladin. Now this one is the matchup that I said is a little bit of a toss-up. I know that you say you think this is a little bit in favor of the Paladin because of the quality combination. And we actually saw that happen exactly in one of the other matches that we saw today where Quality completely won a game for Paladin, so I think it's a lot closer though.
Yeah, it could be for sure, but I will see. I mean, we don't know exactly what's in this Paladin deck, or even in the Warlock deck. Xixo already, that Captain Greenskin sneak peek already shows that he's thinking differently. And I know
outside
Xixo
of the box.
I know Xixo likes taking a few cards and putting it in decks to throw off opponents. It's just what he does. He may not necessarily innovate a complete new archetype, but he definitely likes putting in his own style. Like at DreamHack, for example, even before putting Sea Giants into Zoo, he was putting Sea Giants into Shaman and trying to do like really crazy, like, you know, run over stuff. And it wasn't the first time someone else did it, but he was the one trying to put it for tournament play.
Yeah, and it was after the bot ban wave, so you could feel safe putting Sea Giants into Shaman.
That's right.
Without people accusing you.
They'll be back soon.
Oh yeah, that's right. The ban is ending, isn't it?
It is.
Oh jeez. Well, you are no longer safe to put Sea Giants into Shaman anymore, people. You will be accused, and
well, I mean, this is assuming they'll go back to their ways. Well, I mean, that's another topic for another day. In the meantime, we have a pretty straight-up matchup. I wasn't surprised at all to see FlyBird once again pick Handlock, but has he made any changes whatsoever? I find it hard for those players who transition from Friday night to Saturday morning play to make changes because it's just too different sometimes that you might function differently. The matchups, but if you play with it too much.
You don't have much time to like play around with changes though.
Right. You only have a limited amount of hours to practice and sleep and also function as a human being.
Well, Zombie Chow is a really great turn 1 play against this deck because it answers a lot of the pesky threats that Paladin can put out early on, like Shielded Minibot, or even it helps deal with Muster for Battle, which can be problematic. Or a Noyotron.
He does end up giving up his Mountain Giant, but you know, it's okay for Xixo.
He's still a Twilight Drake, so he's still got a good turn 4 play as well. Is he tempted to use the Owl here? I don't.
It's worth thinking about, but I don't think you do it.
Because then the Owl is a valuable card in the Paladin matchup, and you're delaying your Mountain Giant as well as making your Twilight Drake weaker.
I wasn't expecting that.
I was not either.
So by doing it, you just take away power of like Muster for Battle. But you do give up your ability to like it's just one less silence in your deck if it comes down to Tyrion. You might have to just confront him manually. Like you have to remove him through Siphon Soul and then you have a 5/3 weapon. So it might not get down to that point. He also does have Twilight Drake, so he does have a turn 4 play. It would have been much worse if he did that and he didn't have anything to do this turn.
Yeah.
But everything seems to work out okay, at least for now.
And trading in the Zombie Chow is good in this situation, because you're giving him as little value as possible.
Interesting. He has a Bomb Lobber. Very interesting.
The Bomb Lobber was put into Paladin decks when GVG first came out. When people were starting to experiment with Paladin decks, Bomb Lobber was the card that a lot of pros were saying, oh, this card's great. Let me throw it into a Paladin deck.
Well, if he attacks into the Twilight Drake, I'm pretty sure that telegraphs Consecration, in which case you should Defender of Argus to play around that. But then the weapon still kills off the Drake. 1 for 1.
And then you're down a Defender of Argus, and it doesn't fit your curve, and you're getting far away from your Mountain Giants.
But then Paladin doesn't get the value of Xixo that he wants to. He did take a lot of damage in the process. He healed for 4, but took 14, so he took 10 extra.
So many
I still think Defender is the best play.
Okay.
Here. Based off the reads that you make on your opponent.
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and agree with you.
If you tap, you might tap into nothing.
It's actually very likely that you tap into nothing. I mean, maybe an Ancient Watcher would be just about the only thing you'd play in that situation. And even then, if you're tapping, then you're probably just trying to get closer to Mount Giant, so I don't think you'd even play this.
Right. If it's Consecration, then yep, you don't play that.
I can Mountain Giant next turn.
So now if you're Xixo, I think you use the Bomb Lobber, right? To just snipe the Twilight Drake. You like kill off the Iron Beak Owl and then send him a delivery.
You know what? Why not? There's no other good plays here.
What are you saving this Bomb Lobber for then? Oh man.
Interesting.
I do not have a good feeling about this Knife Juggler.
If he does not hit the Iron Beak Owl, that's an easy trade for Knife Juggler. No.
Okay, so Xixo doesn't trust his own luck, and rightfully so because of what just happened, but really?
I still think Bomb Lobber, you're not even putting anything to luck. And you're still putting a
right, there's a 100% chance it sniped something, but...
And Elder Peacekeeper is a great card in this matchup because of Giants. He's not worried about it, because now the Mountain Giant's probably going to come down this turn.
There has to be something meta behind this. So... No, there has to be a reason. I refuse to accept that he's just doing this because he wants to put pressure on.
If you find...
What happens on turn 6 normally from hand lock? I'm just too stupid to understand this play.
Swanus?
I'm too incapable of understanding.
We have two brains here, Frodan. We have to be able to think of this together.
Why would you use an Elder Peacekeeper on the Owl when you know there's so many better targets? You want the body there. You want the body there for 3 damage. So that way Bomb Lobber becomes better when you answer a giant. So you coin out this Bomb Lobber and then
Would an Outdoor Peacekeeper just be a better answer to a giant?
hold on. Bomb Lobber time. But the problem is that the Bomb Lobber hits the Owl. You have to attack with the Juggler first. This has gotten pretty complicated. Okay, you got it right. Boom. So he doesn't overkill.
Okay. Well, in the grand scheme of things...
This is uncharted waters, TJ.
Wow.
Like, I'm definitely getting a feeling of Magellan here.
Okay. It's his,
Like, you know, Christopher Columbus.
Yeah.
All those other very brave people in the 1600s.
Yeah.
They felt like this too.
Did
They had no clue what they were doing when they were like putting out there. They had a general idea, but like, I have never seen that in the history of ever.
Well,
Like an Elder Peacekeeper on an Owl like, in this matchup.
in a similar vein, watching this, I feel like I'm going to fall off the edge of the earth as well.
The world is flat.
My world is flat, Xixo's world is round. That's the difference between me and him.
Well, he has a vision that I am clearly incapable of seeing at this point. Silencing the Sylvanas is his best course of action, and can be defensive around it as well.
Okay.
He has to have like Sneasel, Shredder, and like other really grindy cards here too, right?
Yeah.
His Paladin is slower. It feels slow, but his Knife Jugglers inherently make it a faster matchup.
We haven't really seen the identity of this deck just yet. Just seems like a pretty standard mid-range so far.
Definitely trying to understand it as we go along. And, you know, this is what FlyBird's also thinking. But some people are like, well, why aren't the commentators ever competent about what's going on? This is already very much into the mind of how a player feels when they're looking at the deck and seeing the Paladin as it's being played. I'm pretty sure FlyBird was also flabbergasted by what we saw.
Yeah, and he's probably thinking the same thing. He's thinking, well, there has to be a reason for him to do this.
Right.
And what could that reason be, and how should I best play around it? And it could throw him for a loop a little bit.
Well, in the end, the Giant did get killed by the Peacekeeper. So the net result was about the same?
Except you don't have a giant on the board that's just being pesky by killing your 1/1s.
Right, because then the other Peacekeeper didn't have to necessarily die.
Yeah.
Because it would have been a 1/8 instead of an 8/7 taking damage.
Yeah.
I don't know. It gets complicated.
Yeah.
A lot of theory.
There's a lot of damage that you would miss, but I guess missed damage against Handlock isn't that big of a deal because unless you're killing them, sometimes damaging them is the wrong thing to do.
Well, Shadow Flame unfortunately leaves just a little bit too low attack to trade with the Iron Beak Owl.
That's pretty fortunate for FlyBird to get a 1-attack creature off of that, because then now he preserves his Iron Beak Owl, which is pretty annoying. Because this True Silver Champion would have been just a nice, easy right into the Defender of Argus. And now it's, well, he has to clear the board over 2 turns, and then he's not using his last True Silver Champion to maybe push through for face after like an Equality Consecrate.
Zombie Chow is extremely dangerous in this matchup just because your opponent can play Molten Giants and heal up for even more. So he might hold off on it.
And Xixo's getting dangerously low. He's at 11 health, and he's only got 2 cards left. And both cards are very underwhelming cards. I mean, he's got a charge of True Silver Champion left and the Powdered Shredder on the board, but this is a scary looking hand for FlyBird. It seems like he's in a pretty good spot.
Well, yeah, you bring up a great point. There's what really can Xixo do, short of just Equality bursting him. That's always something in the back of your mind. He's like, well, he has 8 damage on board. There's a lot of what he could do if he has Equality, but Sludge Belchers are so problematic for Paladin to get through.
Yeah. Yeah, and this is, I mean, short of a quality draw this next turn, this game is sealed.
No. Unless this Pilot Shredder can do something super impactful.
What could it possibly get?
Well, a little bit too late, I suppose. That's
Yep.
going to do it for game 2, and Xixo drops very quickly to FlyBird. He's going to have to 3-0 with his remaining deck and then go into the Blind Pig stage.
Wow. Yeah, this is really, really tough spot. Now, granted, going into this next match, it is going to be Warlock versus Warrior, which